All right, looks like we're live on Twitter. Welcome to Gamcast for Monday morning, I believe it is. We're here today to talk about Trump's refusal to enter into a transition plan with the Harris administration. Here you see an article from Axios. Top Democrat sounds alarm over Trump transition plan delay. We're going to explain to you what's going on with that. Gamcast, where we interpret the news of the day through the lens of the law, Constitution, and history. So if you scroll down, what you find out here, and one of the things you should know is that first and foremost, when you see Jibie Rasin, you know it's almost always a hoax. He is a constitutional professor turned member of Congress, and he's been behind all of the Trump hoaxes from the beginning. He's almost always one of the lead persons. So here you see the article in Axios. Jibie Rasin, a top Democrat at the House Oversight Committee, raised concern Wednesday, this would have been last Wednesday, over Trump's delay in entering into agreements with the Biden administration over the transition process. Here's a letter he sent to Trump and Vance right here on the 23rd, so about 5 days ago. In 2010, with overwhelming bipartisan support, Congress passed a pre-election presidential action to provide majority presidential candidates with funding and resources for robust transition planning to help ensure a smooth and effective transition. Now, Trump has not fallen for this, and it's good that he hasn't. And I'm going to basically explain the legal part of this. So the 20th Amendment moved the transition from March the 4th to January 20th, which is the traditional, now is when power is transferred. Congress really has no constitutional authority to control this, but they did pass an act in 1963, right, to do this, and it has been upped most recently. Actually, I think it was upped in 2022, but he's talking about the 2010 version. So one of the things that should jump out at you is, first and foremost, why is Congress involved in this? Now, ostensibly it's to provide funding, but if you deal with these people, you know what they're going to get, what they're really trying to do here. But I want to start and understand what Trump is doing is returning to constitutional government. This is not something that involves Congress. Biden and Trump should deal with the transition, or Biden and Harris if Lord forbid she wins, even though the poll says she won't. So it really has no congressional role here. But let me let Tulsi Gabbard tell you what's going on, and what I agree with her is what's going on. And you'll notice before you talk about this issue, you have to talk about the fact that Trump is the first president in history also to refuse intelligence briefings. Now, he did that because he said, what will happen is they'll blame me for the leaks. Well, here's Tulsi Gabbard out on the trail over the weekend and prior to going live at Madison Square Garden. Take a listen to what she thinks is going on here.
Who are expressing their grave concern about the fact that President Trump is doing something that has not been done before in what Bobby just talked about, that he has a privately funded transition team that is already getting to work. And they're like, well, how come he's not using taxpayer dollars for this and going through the Government Accountability Office? Something is very wrong here. Well, we should all have hope and how freaked out they are, because we're not allowing Joe Biden's Government Accountability Office to control President Trump's transition team. But this is what we're talking about. They're freaking out because they can't place their moles within the transition team to try to figure.
And that's exactly right. That's exactly what they would do. They would place their moles in the transition team, and then they would leak favorable things to the media. And if you don't believe me how evil Jibie Rasin is, this is up at my Substack channel. I'll put a link into it later. If you're watching on Rumble, Locals, Facebook, or YouTube, you can pull this link up and take a look yourself. But here's Jibie Rasin, okay, in 2016, engaging in what he now claims is an insurrection or a coup. Take a listen, and you'll notice here Vice President Joe Biden is presiding because he was vice president at the time. Take a listen to Jibie Rasin.
From that Donald J. Trump of the state of New York received 29 votes for president, and Michael R. Pence of the state of Indiana received 29 votes for vice president.
For what purpose is the member right?
I have an objection because 10 of the 29 electoral votes cast by Florida were cast by electors not lawfully certified because they violate.
All right, we got to wrap it up. So basically, that's Jibie Rasin right there in 2016, freshly elected to Congress, and he's basically engaging in what he now calls as an insurrection or a coup because he is objecting to for whatever reason, the electors of Florida. To be fair, Biden did not sustain the objection because he didn't meet the criteria at the time. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, if you'll like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you do, I'll see you on the next one.